Yo, Vasek.
Hey,
Hey, how's it going?
I'm doing fine. How are you, man?
Dude, it's awesome day to be here hacking with you.
Yeah.
If I
What?
can call it that. watching you
uh,
watching you make the future.
oh, well, hopefully that's not too much pressure in the beginning, but yeah, let's do it.
Yeah, so today we're going to talk about a little bit about OpenDevin, about Devin, OpenDevin and your awesome product E2B. So maybe just start off by saying a bit about yourself and like what are you building?
Yeah. Hey, so I'm Vasek. I'm the CEO of E2B, and what we are building is like a code execution layer for LLMs. Essentially, we make it easy to run AI-generated code. And one of the typical use cases for us is people building custom code interpreters or adding like code interpreting capabilities to their products and their APIs, or people building their own coding agents like Devin. We
Yeah,
will
like I've done and several
like
others. Yeah.
like Devin, like Gitwit.
Yeah.
You build React eval framework.
What was the first code gen tool that got you excited?
So lately, I wouldn't call it the first one. Well, the ChatGPT's code interpreter
Yeah,
plugin back in the days,
yeah.
back in the days, that sounds like several years
Last
ago,
year.
like, was pretty cool. I think I still see it as the kind of the OG coding agent. It works pretty well. I think it's sort of close to all the GitHub Copilot's assistants, coding assistants, but it
Mm-hmm.
actually runs the code. And there's like small loop that tries to fix itself. There's an error. I think that was very very promising. And the way my co-founder and I we got to E2B was actually that we built our own coding agent in March last year with GPT 3.5. It was just for building backends, JavaScript backends, I think. Back in
Did you use it?
Yeah, so we actually built like Stripe integration with that, and it
Cool.
worked.
Awesome.
Which And also like Slack integration. Like it actually like what really got me excited back in the day and why I was like, oh, this is going to change everything. Even though there were just like sort of glimpses
Mm-hmm.
of it working generally, was that it worked for the specific use case. And yeah, I think that for me like changed
Yeah.
completely changed the thinking about the future of developers. And that's what got us to, okay, there needs to be some kind of cloud, sandbox, some kind of environment for these AI agents, that's basically like a small AI computer,
Mm.
where they can use the same tools as humans. It's essentially like a home for this new species on the planet, that there will be like billions of them in the near future.
I agree. I mean, because there's so many people that want to make code gen agents and people that don't necessarily want to work with the large cloud providers and figure out how to spin up containers on the fly, like myself.
Yeah, I mean, if I were to make an analogy to current technologies, like when you are building your website, you are not setting up your servers.
No.
You should focus on your product. You should focus on your website. And usually, what we see with our users is that they start with serverless functions. They start with, and then they usually from that they move to like managing their own EC2 instances, and then they start managing this whole infrastructure. They need their whole team. So it's in-house solutions that what we are replacing, exactly what you said.
Cool. Now let's fast forward a bit to Devin. Have you used Devin?
I have not personally. I
Mm-hmm.
talked to a bunch of people, saw all the videos as we all
Yeah.
had. I don't have an access.
Okay.
I used OpenDevin though.
You've used OpenDevin. Cool. Any of the other open source alternatives out there, or mainly OpenDevin? That's the
There's
big one.
OpenDevin is a big one. There's an agent from the guys that built the Sweet benchmark
Oh
Evo.
yeah. Uh-huh.
That one doesn't have that much UI around it.
Yeah.
It's really just an agent.
Yeah.
There's also Devon,
Mm-hmm.
Devika. I bet I'm forgetting most of it. I think like to be fair, like there, I mean, there's Gitbit, and I would go like what you build. It's like Devin, but until Devin, there wasn't really that big hype around these coding agents,
Yeah,
and I think UI and the UX of these coding agents is a big part
exactly.
of that. And that's
Exactly.
yeah,
Having a live streamed UI, um, back and forth between the user and the agent, like it just changes everything.
yeah. I think that's a big change that Devin showed to people.
And it's
Uh,
more work than people think.
yeah, yeah. People tend to underestimate how hard it is to build great UX and great
Yeah.
UI, and how important it is for even for developers. I would say like if you are a developer that just wants to get things done and you have your own job and your own tasks at work, you don't want to start messing up with how to set up everything. You just want to use it and actually feel very productive, and that should be the goal, I hope, even for the some of these open source projects.
Cool. And you've been using OpenDevin?
I've been working with their team. We are integrating E2B there. So I've been playing with it. It's still very much in the development phase. But I'm personally very much excited about their community, the
How's their
team.
team? Where are they?
So as far as I know, it's all over the planet. Like it's
Cool.
a really really nice open source project. Everyone is working together. They're very welcoming. And I was you a lot of times I am a little bit afraid with these open source projects that, for example, they tend to move a little bit slower, or there's not clear focus,
Yeah.
or they exactly like they tend to underestimate the value of making it easy to people to run it. But I don't think that's the case with OpenDevin. They move very very fast. They have like clear goals, clear roadmap,
Yeah.
and they put a lot of value emphasis into making it easy to people to use it, but also to run it.
Cool. So you've been building on it yourself, right?
Yeah, I've been playing with it. I wouldn't call it that. I mean, I can't say it for the official Devin, but like
Yeah.
it feels like it's not general use case yet.
Right.
But yeah, for things like you want to write a simple script, or you just like wanted to do a few tasks and you don't mind if it's gonna take a little bit of time, actually a lot of
Cool.
time, it works.
Cool. Okay, I'm really excited. So can you give me a demo, and then can you maybe walk me through the code a little bit
Yeah,
of how it works?
yeah. So let's see if everything is going to work.
Oh wait, try and add your share your screen again.
Oh, sorry. Let me. I must have messed up something.
There, present.
Oh.
Cool. Yeah.
Perfect.
Gotcha.
So this is the interface. It's running locally on my computer right now. And let's start with something simple like write.
Could you maybe just like make it a bit bigger? The
Oh
font?
yeah.
Yeah. Oh yeah, and then I've got the camera right now right over the.
Yeah, maybe move it right. If that's
Put it on the
possible.
right side.
Yeah.
Yeah, sure. Like,
Yeah.
how's that?
I think that should work. So there are still things
Cool.
that don't work yet in OpenDevin. For example, browser is being implemented. But generally, you have the chat window here. There you see what on the right you see what OpenDevin is going to code, and at the bottom you have the commands that Devin is running in terminal. So let's ask OpenDevin to write a Python script that takes argument from terminal and actually that takes a URL as an argument from terminal and scrapes all titles and paragraphs from the website, converts it to markdown, and prints it.
Cool.
Let's see what will happen. Yeah, so
oh, interesting. Okay,
yeah.
so it's already started.
It already started.
Guessing some. Okay, Cool. Love that it's getting a lot of errors, but it keeps going.
Yeah. And I think like that's like getting a lot of errors is completely fine.
Yeah.
The cool thing about agents is that they can fix themselves, and they are eventually they will get like like they will get cheap. The LLM use cases will be a commodity. Um, and you wouldn't care that it runs for 6 hours. I'm just wondering if it's still running. It seems like it finished, like it wrote the file script. Yeah,
Okay.
I just asked it to write a Python script, so actually run it.
So it seems a lot like Code Interpreter. Obviously, it can download stuff from the internet, right? Which is different.
Yes, it can download stuff from the internet. It has full like long running session sandbox with file system. Soon it will have a persistence, a browser.
Right.
It will be able to run different languages and runtimes besides Python. I think it's actually stuck. I don't know if I set up something wrong. Run it. Yeah, I mean, this project is few weeks old essentially. So one has to bear with it.
What do you think could be wrong?
I'm not 100% sure. I think something in the like agent loop might get stuck. It got an action. Let me try to actually. Okay, let me try to restart it. Where is the command?
Because the first time you ran it, it definitely ran several commands. So it was running it was running the agent loop, and then the second time it just didn't run the command, right?
Yeah, it feels like that. I think it just crashed.
Okay.
Let me quickly.
Might need to burn that ABI key.
Yeah. No worries. That's not a problem.
We've got credits.
I will probably like switch it right after the stream. And yeah, let me actually. I need to set up my OpenAI key. Can you stop the screen sharing for a while?
Yeah, sure.
Awesome. Thanks you. Sorry about the sorry about the issues here.
That's fine. While we're doing that, I have a comment from Sohaib who says, "Hey guys, love your work. Watch your videos regularly." Cool.
Nice. That's very nice. What's your plan with once you get a hands with on Devin?
Once I get my hands on Devin.
Yeah.
Ooh. So I do a lot of full stack stuff. So basically, I would just be testing its full stack abilities. GPT-4 can't even properly access OpenAI documentation. So, I mean, the biggest limitation for me is like, can it reference documentation? And yeah, I would just want to see like, can it build Next.js apps? Can it build Vue.js apps? Can it do the Stripe integration?
Yeah.
Like with the most up-to-date API.
I feel like one of the biggest issues or challenges, not issues necessarily, will be like understanding the context of the whole project. Like a lot of things get said in the team, it's on Slack and everywhere. So for example, like just saying add Stripe implement integration might be pretty straightforward for some projects, but yeah, for other ones, it might get a little bit tricky. Like what exactly does that mean?
Or maybe like another one would be like if you're integrating Firebase or Firebase auth, does that mean integrate it on the client side, on the server side, or both?
Exactly.
Do you use SSR? Like this is where things really start to go wrong.
It seems to be running. Maybe
can I show this?
Yeah, 100%. Okay. Yeah. Maybe just GPT-4 is slow. On those days.
Cool. Cool. So what are we doing now? We are
The same. I said this.
having it build the script.
Yeah. I asked it to do the same instead of write. I put there a run.
Cool.
You know, this is like live demos. It always breaks when you want to present it.
No, cool. So let's see what we have here. It says, okay, so we don't know what it's doing yet. We don't have like enough logging to see if it's waiting.
Actually, there are logs. Actually, the project is fairly welcoming to new people. Even in a sense, like the code base.
Cool.
And there should be a log directory somewhere. I might be missing a logs directory.
Can you make the font a bit bigger?
Oh yeah. Sorry about that. I
Cool.
keep forgetting about it.
That's cool. Yeah. Now we can see.
I mean, I just rebased it on master on main today, this morning, and a lot of things might have changed. They're moving pretty fast, actually.
Do they have some kind of testing?
They do
for cases like this.
I think they are setting up testing. They have in their readme that it's OpenDevin is still an alpha project. It's changing very quickly and it's unstable, as we can see. Let me try again. I don't know why it's not working. I don't see the logs here. There used to be logs here. Maybe they changed it. Oh no, I think it crashed again. Oh no.
Did you like just have it working before this?
I had it working
last night,
yesterday, like actually today 1 a.m. or something when I was finishing the integration, and this morning I was like, I'm gonna merge the main, so I'm ready. Well, and yeah, might have been a bad idea.
Oh, so you tested before merging?
I tested before merging and also after merging,
it worked as well.
It worked like literally before this call.
Okay. That's fine. Well,
oh, sorry, before this call, before this
this very in-person
call. Sorry, I'm a lot of Zoom calls. A lot of Zoom calls in day-to-day life. Oh no.
This hyper realistic.
This is
VR.
This is how development looks like. But
cool.
Yeah,
that's cool. I mean, I get an idea of what it's supposed to do, right?
You know, I can record a demo or something after the interview
when it works. What would be really cool would be just to walk us through the code base.
Yeah. So I think I just exposed my API keys. Never mind. No problem. I change them basically every day now. So yeah, a little bit of intro into the OpenDevin. So there's a front end. I don't touch that at the moment much. There's a OpenDevin directory which has all the agent and agent orchestration and element communication and sandbox management. And there's also Agent Hub, which is interesting. So OpenDevin is basically working, or the goal, one of the goals of the project is that they want to add many different agents, and they are like adding right now Sui bench agent, which is great because like I like that their goal isn't to write their own best agent, but instead like, hey, it's totally like if there's any other open source agent that works better than what we have, let's incorporate it and see how it's performing.
So the user that would be like user selected?
I'm not sure, to be fair. Like that would be a good question to the main contributors, but I think they will just select the one that's has the best performance on the benchmark.
Cool.
And there is evaluation. So this is what's being worked on right now. Especially the sweet bench part is having the full pipeline for the evals
Oh,
to so
cool.
you can test.
So have you run the Sweet Bench evals?
It's not really ready yet.
Okay.
So I'm working with the maintainers that once E2B is
It's like a
properly
perfect use
tested.
case for E2B.
Exactly. That once E2B is properly tested as a sandbox, we want to help them set up the eval
Mm-hmm.
pipeline so they can just like with one command run it and everything runs inside the sandbox, and every sandbox is like separate. So let me step back a little bit. Sweetbench works that there's a GitHub repository, there's a issue,
Mm-hmm.
and there's a
Unit tests.
and there's a commit for that issue, like a patch,
Oh, yeah.
and that commit is essentially solving the issue. And I think there are
That's what
also,
the agent does.
that's what the agents should do, and then
Yeah.
you just compare like has it actually got to the same result.
Yeah.
And if I'm not missing anything, and yeah, the idea is that we want to set up evil pipeline that either every GitHub repo is separate sandbox, or every commit is separate sandbox.
Mm-hmm.
So
Mm-hmm.
you can have a bunch of sandboxes, and even like try just the one that retry just the one that are failing with a different agent or something like that.
Mm. Okay. Yeah, and they're all in Python, I think.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
So you don't need a lot of resources in this sandbox. You just need enough to pull down the Python files and then run some tests, right?
Uh, I think so. I need to do I haven't done any like thorough
Right, right,
digging
right.
into the benchmark yet,
Yeah.
into the data set. But
Right.
I would say it kind of depends. Like you also need uh, definitely like even in the UI you can, oh, it's not working right now, but in the
Mm-hmm.
UI you can see that there or you could see that it was there was a browser tab.
Yeah.
So you want browser running in the sandbox. So I think it's not something like crazy. You don't need GPUs or
Oh,
anything like
yeah.
that. But you want like moderate machine for your software virtual AI developer to for the OpenDevin to work.
Yeah, of course. Okay, yeah, because you want the first you need OpenDevin to run in the sandbox and then the eval.
Yeah, I mean OpenDevin, that's simple, right? Like that's what I like about this whole AI engineering thing, that getting started is fairly easy. It's just like bunch of LLM calls. Like getting it to work to in 99%, it's pretty hard. But I really like how there's more and more projects and people trying new stuff. Uh,
Yeah.
but what's definitely more resource consuming is either some of these repos in the data set, or that like all the tools that you should give to the agent, like starting with the browser. Maybe you want something more like you want debuggers, you want to run linters,
Mm-hmm.
language server protocols, things
Mm-hmm.
like that. and
Mm-hmm.
and that's where we want to move with our sandboxes.
Mm-hmm.
Like we want these agents to use the same tools as human developers are using it on their computers.
Cool. So this is a TypeScript project or Python? What is it?
OpenDevin is part Python, part TypeScript.
Okay.
The front end is in TypeScript or JavaScript, and backend is in Python.
Cool. So it looks like so the OpenDevin directory here, that would be like the Python backend.
Exactly. That's a backend.
Mhm.
I've been mostly working in the sandbox directory. But yeah, you have basically a bunch of actions that the agent can take, file operations, read and write to files. You have bash commands that it can run. Then I think they are using LLM light LLM, so they can connect to any LLM. They're making it really friendly, so you can use your favorite open source LLM
Got it.
or anything different than
Got it.
OpenAI.
Yeah, would love to see how this works with Mixtral.
I haven't tried that yet. I'm especially interested in the new Claude models, Claude
That
3 and
too.
Opus,
Yeah.
and Command R is pretty good also from Cohere.
Cool.
Yeah, I think like once the project gets more stable, it will also be super interesting, like how the different agents are working with different LMs. There was a Twitter post the other day that showing how even though you might have an bare bone LLM performing better on human eval than like GPT-4,
Mm-hmm.
it still doesn't mean that the agent will perform better with that like Claude 3 opus than agent with GPT-4, which is interesting. Like it's not something you would naturally expect. I would expect that if the
Oh, okay.
vanilla LLM works better with CodeGen by itself, the agent will also work there better.
So what you're saying is, so what you're saying is like some LLMs may have sort of like superpowers when they're turned into an agent
Yeah, sorta.
because they're more adept at using agent.
I wouldn't call it
framework.
superpowers. I would say like maybe there are some hidden agentic behavior
Mhm.
there that's maybe already learned.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, I think it might be worthwhile to learn what causes this to that agent is performing better with an LLM that actually has worse benchmark by itself on the code gen.
Yeah.
Because that can unlock a lot of things.
Mm. Yeah, and it all comes down to what benchmarks you choose as well.
Yeah. So let's get to the problem with SWE benchmark. All those GitHub issues there are actually from like 2019 or something. So if you just ask if you just paste in the name of the issue into the LM, it will give you the code. Not necessarily the right one, but it knows about it.
Yeah, this is a problem. This is a huge problem in evals.
Yeah, like how do you get pure data, right?
Yeah, you pay someone to come up with it.
I guess. I mean, there's a nice analogy to, I think it's steel
Mhm.
in the real world, like the material.
Yeah.
There, I don't think or there has been problem of getting a steel that's like radiation free after Second World War and after Cold War and everything. And it has different uh, it behaves different. It acts differently when you use this radiation-free steel, and I think it's pricier.
Right. Yeah. So a lot of stuff is already super contaminated.
Yeah, exactly.
Basically. And yeah, OpenAI created human eval, which was created in isolation. I think we'll have to do more of that in the future.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I'm no E2B. Like at E2B, we are not building
Evals,
LM
yeah.
or
Yeah.
evals or anything like that. We are like a boring code execution layer, but made for AI. But so I'm no expert there, but it feels like evils and kind of having like independent evils and data that, especially it's not like coming from any LM provider, might be uh, very valuable.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, from the users really would be the best.
But that would imply, like, what do you mean from users?
I mean, if users would share the problems, if users could crowdsource the problems that they are not able to solve with agents,
Oh, it still might be contaminated data. Right?
it could be. Yeah.
I don't know how to say.
Yeah. So yeah, it looks like you have like the agent file. Is this where this is where the agentic sort of architecture is set
This is
up?
where we are in the actions directory.
Oh,
So
okay.
this is like agent actions.
These
They
are
have different actions, like some of them are actionable or executable, like run a command, for example. But others are not executable, like summarize action, or this action is like it's finished, or it's thinking, it's
interesting.
planning. Uh,
Interesting. Okay. So there's a lot of actions here.
Yeah.
It's like at least 20 different actions, maybe. On
Yeah.
that order of magnitude. Yeah. Just looking through all of the stuff here. The browse URL, files, tasks. Okay, so it can create a list of tasks. It can then, among those tasks, it can like do stuff with files, the internet, the terminal, and this is maybe just like classes that are reused.
Yeah, these are like abstract
and these
classes
are
or in
abstract.
classes, and then
We have some,
you inherit from them.
and then we have this, which is
It's like
perhaps
thinking.
not implemented yet, actions.
Oh, this is like you have to actually in your so the idea is that you have
this is
actions
a
for the
super-
project, and then
super-
you go to Agent Hub and you implement your agent with those actions.
Got it. Okay, that was the base class
So there's a step for
Agent
this
Hub.
code act agent, and it's, for example, using agent message observation,
Oh, cool.
agent finish action, command run action, and you have to like implement this interface for the given action.
Cool. And where are the Agent Hub? Is that like a GitHub repo that stores like another GitHub repo where all these actions are stored?
No, I mean these actions are just a data structure,
Yeah.
like in code.
Right.
And
But like, is there like a repository where people can go put their
like a new agent with actions?
Because the if I get it correctly, like Agent Hub, that's like a hub for actions for people.
Agent Hub is hub for
for
different
any
agents,
agent at all
that OpenDevin might use.
Right. Okay.
So it's like kind of like going in a direction. I don't know if they're actually already using like multiple agents. But going in that direction, you have like planner agent, which thinks about the whole task.
Yeah. So when we were, or we just where's the action? So when we were right here under agent, we were looking at these.
These are just like the actions that exist, that an agent can like use.
Any agent.
You can build your own agent with that.
Got it.
And it's up to you how that how that agent behavior will look like specifically, and you have a set of actions that you can use.
Okay, cool. So they just sort of laying down the foundation for anyone to make an agent.
Yeah, I just think that they are building the agents or adapting like SWE agent, and these agents are then actually performing the actual tasks inside a sandbox with the browser, with the file system, with files.
And I guess an agent, at the core of it is like a task queue, right? I mean, you have to have some thing to manage that, right? Like, is there a code here? Can they do things in parallel, the agents?
To be fair, I don't know. I haven't been fully into the whole project.
Or you might have to implement that yourself.
Yeah. I mean, from the videos I saw, at least about Devin, like the nice thing I liked about Devin is that it's working on something and you can share with it at the same time. So you ask, hey, what you are doing, like, or you ask something completely different, and it just works while it's working on something.
Cool. That is different.
Yeah,
that is very different.
It's not like you have to sit there and just waiting, and you can't even know what's happening, unless there are like very, very detailed logs. I don't think OpenDevin works like that right now, because there's just like one thread, and that thread just tells you what it's working on, or like what's the state of the task it's working on.
Okay. So it's just a bit of concurrency work to do in TypeScript, everyone's favorite.
Yeah, I mean, it's good to keep in mind that OpenDevin is like a month-old project, or maybe 2 months old project. Wow. So everything is super new, but the direction is great.
Cool. Okay. And this would be like the code that runs that starts the agent, for example, agent controller.
Yeah. So there's a main file somewhere
here.
Yeah. And then you create your own agent and your agent controller, and you pass the agent to it, and
got it.
The control starts the loop.
Okay.
So you're right.
That's the thing that creates the agent, maybe kills the agent, whatever.
Yeah.
Does some interface, keeps it in sync with the UI, maybe.
Mm-hmm.
Cool.
I thought they have a WebSocket server and communication running between the front end and the back end. To At least with the Docker sandbox, they're also using for local development.
That makes sense. And then our favorite part is that this one here.
Yeah.
Tell me about this.
So yeah, sandbox. So you have to have your agent has to work somewhere. I think it a little bit depends on what's your definition of an agent.
Yeah.
I personally don't think that like just having generated text is an agent. And for me, like there's a lot of articles and content all around the internet. Like, what's an agent? Like I mean, if it has some kind of self reflection and user tool, I see it as an agent. And so if you have coding agent, you have to write code somewhere, you have to run it somewhere, and you have to run different commands, use the tools that humans use. So you need a sandbox. And here you have two types of sandboxes, essentially. One is a Docker, one is an E2B. Docker you would typically use for the local development. E2B is something that we are working with OpenDevin team to eventually OpenDevin will be accessible just through URL.
Right.
You pass your LM key there, and you can use it basically for free, or like what you decided to use for to pay for your OpenAI usage or LM usage.
Yeah.
And the big thing with these sandboxes is you want them isolated, you want them secure, you don't know what kind of code you will run beforehand, and you want them spin up very, very fast, and you want to manage the infrastructure. And that's what we do. So E2B is like a micro VM for your agent.
Yeah. So with the Docker, so they implemented the Docker one first, right? And so with that one, if I would run the agent and then stop the agent, does that stop the Docker container or?
It doesn't.
So the Docker container keeps the state.
So the Docker container is running the whole time. And that's another thing. Like,
and if I'm running, sorry to interrupt, but if I'm running OpenDevin in Docker, then would this be a Docker in Docker situation?
Yeah.
Okay.
It gets kind of like tricky.
Yeah.
And then like, what do you do when you have like 100 users on your OpenDevin website, and each one of them needs a separate Docker?
Right.
So kind of like you like, there's kind of like a need for a service that just spin ups the
right.
It's gonna like GitHub, like Replit or GitHub code spaces, right? Like every developer that visits gets their own container, but you need to control it programmatically now and integrate it into your project.
Yeah.
And you don't want to pay for the idle time. So ideally, it's a stateful, but at the same time, it kind of behaves like serverless. So it's like I think Fly.io came up with this. It's serverless servers that you basically don't pay when you don't use it, but when you don't use it, it kind of serializes itself, and when you start using it again, everything is there as it was before, including in the memory. If you have any variables, agent stop in the memory, agent stop during a task, or like a human had to move away. You don't want to like 5 hours the agent waiting there with your Docker container and paying for 5 hours. Because if you do that on the scale of like millions, it's gonna be huge cost.
Yeah, Replit can do that. I would have no idea where to start with with like a cloud provider how to do that. But I only know Replit does it.
So Replit can pause and spin up. That's a very handy feature. The challenge here is how you can do it very, very fast.
Yeah.
Like ideally, you want to move into sub 100 milliseconds to make the user experience great. We are currently about like sub 900 milliseconds, around 900 milliseconds with this, and aiming to 500 milliseconds. Basically, like spin up and like pause and resume your VM in 500 milliseconds.
Cool. Awesome. Yeah, I think that explains really well why E2B, why there's a need for this, why this exists, right? To me, that just perfectly encapsulates, why this is important, what you're doing, right? Because a lot of people will say, oh yeah, can't you do this or that, right? Other solution, but
the
ability to just spin up on the fly in such a short amount of time That's really, really cool.
Yeah.
Cool. So yeah, last thing, I guess, could you just show like how you've implemented that like in OpenDevin?
Sure. So it was actually fairly easy. The OpenDevin team already had uh, their like sandbox interface ready. So I got inspired by that.
Mm-hmm.
I just imported E2B sandbox.
Mm-hmm.
The reason it's red now because I don't have installed dependencies at the moment.
Mm-hmm.
And this line basically spins up a whole VM for you, micro VM on our cloud. You can create your own template. That means you can predefine the sandbox any way you want. We stream all
Right.
the standard output, error output from the VM, set up working directory, and with our SDK, we have both Python and JavaScript SDK.
Mm-hmm.
You just start the process. Or actually here, start a process with the command that you pass. You can wait for the command, the process to finish. And that's the like main part of the sandbox.
Yeah.
The other part is in a different file. It's currently in the file actions file,
Yeah.
and that is you want to control the file system. And so
Mm-hmm.
this sandbox here is E2B sandbox, and you have access to file system to read files, write files. There's also more features with E2B
Mm-hmm.
that I'm not showing here, like uploading, downloading files. Every sandbox has their own URL. That means that you can connect to it, like through WebSocket, for example. Like I mean, you had React or Next.js,
Mm-hmm.
Next.js app running inside the sandbox, and you
Right.
just took a screenshot, right, of it.
Yeah. Yeah. And to do that, I had to. I was running, I think, Puppeteer
Yeah.
inside of E2B. So I was mainly using the command line interface to do that.
Yeah. So that's a one handy feature, is that because we do something called snapshots with our VMs, you can during the build time of your custom sandbox, you can specify like what all the services you want to run. For example, the Puppeteer, you want to have a web browser already running, you want to have database already
Right.
running, and
Yeah.
when you spawn the sandbox, it's instantly there. You don't need to wait for anything to get set up. So even though the sandbox is uh, paused or not running, and then you start it, everything is instantly running in those like 900 milliseconds.
That's super cool. Cool.
We think like speed is definitely a feature, especially if what our users are building are like user interfaces around their products. So it affects how great their user interface can be.
Awesome. Cool. Well, that's pretty much all that I had to ask you. Super cool to see how fast OpenDevin is coming along. Probably faster than I expected. Faster than a lot of people expected.
Yeah, to be fair, like
Catching up on the competition.
It's inspiring at the and at the same time every day I wake up and I'm working on the PR and I'm like, oh, 20 new comments I have to merge now. So it's great. Like the team is moving super fast, and I encourage everyone to check out their Discord, their Slack, and the project. Like run it on your own if you are a developer. Give it a try. Maybe do some contributions.
Cool. Yeah, I'm definitely going to be looking at this code base for some inspiration. I think there's a lot.
Perfect.
All right.
Thanks, man.
Nice.